here to Ripple Rock. This one has a little cool story behind it. Campbelltown River's 1958 Ripple Rock explosion is the inspiration for our latest single malt whiskey. That was this year's release, or 2020's release anyway, so not 2021, but 2020. It has spent 6 years in American oak before finishing for 18 months in an alligator char virgin oak cask. Shelter Point Ripple Rock explodes with intense flavors of chocolate, spices, and vanilla. So 7.5 years old, almost 8 years old. On the front of the bottle, it says aged 7 years in American oak and finished in virgin oak casks. So maybe there's a typo at the back. Maybe that's 8.5 years old then. Gonna nose it, taste it, give it a mark. Beautiful vanilla on the nose. I love the influence of virgin oak on single malt. Honestly, I think it's fantastic. Definitely get that chocolate that they're talking about. Nice brown sugar notes as well. And then, I don't know if it's whenever I'm drinking a Canadian whiskey, I think maple syrup, but I definitely get a little bit of maple syrup on the nose. On the palate, love that char. This is the most salty out of all the ones on the table so far that I've reviewed on this side. Love the amount of salt that you get on the palate. Chocolate, it's like salted chocolate or salted dark chocolate maybe. Some vanilla in there as well. Beautiful char note on that palate. I honestly love Ripple Rock. If you can find the Ripple Rock, so far, out of all the single malts I've tried from Shelter Point, this is one of my favorite. Hard not to give this one a 90. I think I'm very close to a 90. I think for value, this has to be a 90. It's honestly excellent stuff. I really, really like this. Got a backup bottle of it. Really happy that I have a backup bottle of it because I don't have that much left, or to the pessimist, that doesn't look like enough anyway. Really good stuff. Honestly, that's a 90 for me. Ripple Rock is awesome stuff. So Shelter Point always puts on a hard to read print. I don't know if it's because I'm colorblind or what, but it says you don't have to make whiskey in paradise, but it helps. Honestly, I can't wait to visit the distillery when I get a chance, when COVID's over and all that stuff, because I do plan to. It looks beautiful from the video and the images that I've seen, but I can't wait to visit because I think it's going to be an awesome experience. Moving over to this classic single malt whiskey chosen by Kensington Wine Market, 59%, selected by, bottled exclusively for Kensington Wine Market. So Andrew, the owner of Kensington Wine Market, obviously picked this one. It's bottle number 22 of 162. Distilled May 2012. Distilled May 2012. All right, and I believe that they had this for sale as of 2017, making this about 5 years old. All right. Again, no added color, unchill filtered, all those fun things. 59%, that's why it's on this side of the table, because it gets a little bit heavier on this side. So, some of the things that you get from the artisanal single malt, but you get that malt forward distillate characteristic I love from Shelter Point. It definitely smells saltier than the standard artisanal single malt. Perhaps it's because it's cask strength. Really nice nose. What's crazy about Shelter Point is you do not think you're drinking 5, 6, 7-year-old whiskey. You think you're drinking older stuff. So that malt forward on the palate, honey, and then I don't know how this happened. There is an incredible finish to this whiskey, and it lasts a long time. So this is still available at Kensington Wine Market if you're looking for it and you want to find it. Like I said, 59%. Incredible finish on this whiskey. I don't understand how they did that unless they use virgin oak casks. But the finish, it's all espresso. It's all espresso. It's exactly what I get from a well-made espresso after I've taken a sip. That lingering espresso, almost charcoal kind of finish. Yeah, and then the sweetness combined with that, maybe a little dark chocolate. It's not very fruit forward on the palate at all, but that finish is unreal. I love it. Fantastic stuff. I don't know how they did that. Nice amount of salt on the palate as well. I don't know how they did that, but really, really cool. I would like to know more information about this one. Just 100% malted BC barley, right off the distillery, right off the farm from the distillery. Really, really good stuff. I don't know how I can't give this one an 89. Do I like it better than the Ripple Rock? Probably not, but that finish is unbelievable. So maybe somewhere between 89. I would say 89. Like, I'm gonna stick with an 89 on this one. I didn't think I was gonna mark that one that high, but it's just getting better every time I go back to it. And the thing about single casks, guys, is that they take longer than your standard cask strength whiskey to open up because there's no vatting period whatsoever. They're just going from barrel to bottle. So all of these took some time to open up. It's a relatively small batch distillery, although they do have quite a bit of barrels lined up already. I'm talking like over 2,000 barrels lined up in their warehouse, which is awesome. So they're big players, and they want to be big players, and they're gonna be, in my opinion, big players. That's an 89, and I think I'm being a little bit conservative on the mark, to be honest with you, because it's really, really good stuff. But you know what? I'm not surprised because Andrew from Kensington Wine Market always picks really, really good barrel picks. So awesome. So on all of their regular expressions, it says at the back, the other unique ingredient is pure spring water that comes from glacier-fed aquifer located directly beneath our property. All right, and I was talking about this a little bit earlier. You see a video of them digging out some of the earth on the grounds, and water starts to spill into the soil, which is crazy. If you dig far enough down, you'll get to water. And that's coming directly from the glacier located in the mountain not far from here. So really, really cool. This one's cask strength. They blended single grain spirit with rye spirit. So single grain spirit with rye spirit. So maybe single grain barley, both malted and unmalted, or maybe just unmalted barley with rye spirit for this one here. Wow, awesome nose on this one. You get a touch of that rye spice, but then you get this malty, like barley kind of note. Honey forward. Really good on the nose. Honestly, I really like the nose on this one. Get a little bit of that sea spray as well. That saltiness. So, one thing I've been getting whenever there's a combination of grains, I'm noticing it a lot with Shelter Point, and I'm noticing it with other distilleries that combine rye and barley together. This is a beautiful cinnamon note that I get on this whiskey. Really, really, really nice. Don't know how old this one is, but really nice. Really, really nice cinnamon note on the palate. And then when I say that, of course, you start to pick it up on the nose as well. Yeah, that's awesome. Honestly, that's really, really good. 58.7% ABV. This one's a regular expression. I think it's available all over Alberta, to be honest with you. Really nice. Honestly, I have to give this one an 89. Also, hard to distinguish which one I like better between the single malt cask strength and the one that has both rye and barley. But they're both fantastic, and they're so different. Everything I've had on this table so far is completely different than the next thing. But we're getting to the one that I think I like the best. Obviously, I love this 100% rye. It's fantastic. I gave it a 91. That's not a small score for me. All these scores have been pretty big in my opinion. I was convinced that I was gonna give the double barrel that's aged for 1,993 days a lower mark, but it's drastically improved. I would recommend most of these to buy, if not all. Obviously, if you have a budget, then stick to my higher scores, of course. But last but not least, the Smoke Point whiskey. Again, the 100% rye I gave a 91. I'm not going to be tasting that one tonight. So, the story behind Smoke Point is this. 50% ABV. This is bottle number 90 of 1,500. This is batch 2, so there's obviously a couple batches at least. This is bottled in 2020. This single grain smoky delight has been aged in American oak ex-bourbon casks for 5 years and finished in casks previously used by an Isla distillery for 18 months. All right, so 18 months in Lefroy barrels, Lefroy quarter cask barrels to be specific. So a very nice peat note on the nose. All right, they're getting their peat from their casks and not their barley. They're buying casks from Lefroy and they are aging their spirit in these casks. So single grain barley, again, we can assume by single grain they mean both malted and unmalted barley. All right, total of 6.5 years old. Beautiful nose. Really, really nice peat note to it. Not overly peaty, not Lefroy peat if that's what you're worried about. If you're not a Lefroy fan, you're not getting Lefroy peat on this nose. You will get a little bit of on the finish here, so keep that in mind, but beautiful sweetness on the nose. Smoked honey. Nice saltiness. A little bit of barbecue in there. Some apples on the palate. You can definitely get that Lefroy influence on the palate though. Nice amount of smoke. I guess compared to all these, the smoke really comes out. If you have it by itself, it's not very smoky, but right now that sip was super smoky compared to these because none of these are smoky. Almost like sipping a independent bottling of Lefroy right now. Kind of strange. But strange in the best kind of way. So good. Honestly, I love this. You definitely get a little bit of that Shelter Point distillate on the palate, which is great. And then you get that Lefroy from mid palate to throughout the finish. Really, really nice smoke to it. There's maybe a hint of some like medicinal notes in there. Nice charcoal, nice deep smoky note to it. Beautiful. One more sip. I'm gonna give this one a mark. Good amount of salt on this one as well. All right, so this one for me is an 89 as well. I thought maybe I'd give it a little bit higher than the Ripple Rock, but the Ripple Rock really shines through when you line them all up. 89. So I really have to reflect on 2020 when I taste these guys, because these whiskeys would not be on my table if it wasn't for COVID and the difficulty in finding expressions from Scotland. You guys know I'm a huge single malt fan. I am also a big rye fan as well. And these guys are doing both of those things incredibly. Honestly, I love everything Shelter Point's doing. To call myself a fanboy is an understatement. If you're following my Instagram, if you're following me on lives and whatnot, you know I'm talking Shelter Point on a regular basis. Have a ton of pictures on my Instagram. You can check that out as well. I really hope you guys like this video. I hope you go with at least one or two of these. If you're from another country, I really want you guys to try to source one of these if you can. They're doing some really, really cool things. And I honestly think the future is super bright for these guys. They're going to be a big player in the game. They got a lot of whiskey that's in their warehouse waiting to be bottled. They have everything that you would want out of a distillery. Beautiful farm, sourcing their own barley. They have an awesome source of water that definitely heightens the flavor of this whiskey. They're getting ocean spray, so they're getting something that pretty much nowhere else in Canada other than the East Coast can get, which is incredible. Just all around great stuff, guys. Obviously, I'm done bragging about them. This rundown is the end for a while anyway. Ridiculously good stuff. I'm happy with all these purchases and I will enjoy them all in due time. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you really like the video, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the bell to get notifications for when I do release a video. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Check out the Shelter Point website to see what you can buy from there. Email them if you have to. That's it for me, guys. Cheers.